watch. You make sure it actually gets off the runway. In a major label, sometimes it's a lot cheaper to just push it in the ditch and make sure the next one takes off. You know, that is the danger you're facing.
Yeah, I just got a text from Dead Mouse. He said, "Fuck you all, I've got the money." Anything else from Cyber says? Dead Mouse there.
Yeah, I might have something.
Anybody else, anything to say?
I would really like to oh, sorry, you first.
Well, mine was more of a question, I guess, a sanity check for me. We're quite a small label, it's only our second release, and I've heard a lot about, you know, you don't need necessarily the buzz charts and things like that, and we've been pushing quite heavily. Does that also stand for more commercial dance, or should we be doing it? Because like we've worked really hard, we've got the video out to every major gym in the UK, we've got it, you know, Singapore Airlines, all sorts of weird and wacky things to try and get that profile the traditional way. Mm-hmm. And I'm now wondering if I'm doing it wrong and I should be putting my effort somewhere else.
You should have been here last year, mate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No, I think what we're hearing up here is, yeah, it's got its place, but get into the bloggers and get some buzz on your record through the bloggers and make sure.
I think it depends record track by track. You can't use the same process on every single record. You know, there's a methodology for doing a record the way you're doing it, and hopefully you'll get results from it. You know, that's not wrong. I'm not saying that's not wrong. I'm just saying on the way we work for certain club level, you know, the onus has shifted away from, oh, I must get on the buzz chart, because, you know, if you're a kid in Bulgaria, do you really think you look at the buzz chart, you go, I like that record on that label with that artist, it works, I'll buy it.
I think with really commercial dance records, you still have to do that traditional kind of like club promo route, because there's no other real way that people in those clubs get to hear the music otherwise.
Should a new label, I mean, it's a second release, should they be investing that kind of money right now, or should they be, taking it easy, creating some kind of buzz on the label, or should they be pushing their track? I mean, again, it comes back to this: should they be developing their label and get people to trust that label, or should they be, track-driven, artist-driven, and going that promotion route?
I think one begets the other, doesn't it, really? I mean, it depends what you want to do with your business model. If you want to be a lifestyle, a brand, then it's about getting the brand right. If you want to be a kind of aggregator for tracks in some respect, then it's about getting the tracks right. So it depends where you want to go with it, really.
Is Jason Ellis in the house? No? I just want to know what, Jason Ellis, it's a bit unfair, but Positiva, traditionally was like a hit factory for music, for dance music. I just wonder if their remit has changed slightly, because, they are part of the major label. A major labels, again, is everyone chasing a hit? I don't think they are anymore. I think it's chasing I think it's making a little sales of a lot of titles. This is how businesses are running, rather than putting all their eggs in one basket, chasing one hit. Is that right?
Well, I mean, I think just going back to with the major labels, those big records, they do actually, help us. We have currently we have a record that's it was last week was #2 in the top 40 in the U.S. By an artist named Pitbull called "I Know You Want Me," and that was competing with. It was sandwiched in between Eminem and Black Eyed Peas. So with the digital market, you don't really need the same manpower as the major labels, but yeah. So with that single, I don't think the majors are going to know what to do with that kind of record, because it is a dance record, and I don't know if they have their place where if it's not the typical pop record, it might not. They might not understand it. They just don't work it the same.
Mm-hmm. I think, okay, we've kind of said a lot of PO. I mean, any questions from the audience? I think, let's have a little bit of that.
I would like to come back to this question I had before, compilation on digital distribution. How you prevent that they're getting out of the market, because as long as people can still buy single songs of compilation, it's not a compilation anymore. It's like a collection of singles. So as you all sell quite well in the market of compilation, what do you want to do digitally? You just say, okay, you can just buy this compilation for 10 euros all in all, or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters. People can buy the compilation or the single, so long as they're buying it and they're generating me some cash. I don't give a shit.
Compilation is more expensive. You buy 10 songs at once, or one song for 99 cents. It's a difference from.
I want all the sales. I want the individuals and the albums. You know,
but
I
you
don't discriminate.
But you might sell more if you say, okay, you can buy just this compilation for €10. You can't buy single songs out of it, and then suddenly it makes more sense to have exclusive songs.
Yeah, I don't think we can
digital
second guess the
platforms
audience
don't work
anymore.
like that.
You know, in this day and age, we can't dictate to the audience anymore. We can't second guess them. You've just got to put it on a plate, as far as I'm concerned, and they're going to take what they're going to take.
Yeah, the digital platforms don't work like that either. You know, iTunes insists that you have single songs for sale as part of the album. It's 85%. And you know, the way that you pull people into buying a whole album is you either use a DJ who, you know, who's got a fan base, or you include a continuous mix of the tracks, and you still get that traditional kind of like compilation ethic where it's a continuous playthrough. And yeah, that's something that we've been doing a lot with just digital compilations, to market our own tracks individually, but also to sell them as a continuous mix.
There's a guy at the back here.
Steve, with regards to whether or not like a Dead Mouse has a hit or something, you don't think that it affords them the opportunity to kind of do the more underground music that they'd like to make? And so in signing up and going through those distribution channels, Eric Prydz seems to have done it really well with a couple of singles he signed to Ministry of Sound and got into the charts and the radio station, and that's obviously gives him enough money that he can then, you know, do his more underground stuff on Pride and Mouseful, and it kind of gives him that leeway to kind of do the more underground stuff, where if you're just doing that and plugging away, you know, you might have to have a day job and kind of produce in the evening.
Yeah, I was going to name check Eric as well, because, you know, he seems to have, you know, he has his commercial head, and that pays for all his real underground stuff. But in fact, he's a fantastic producer on both sides of the fence, you know. You've got to be able to deliver. Eric can, you know, maybe he's a one-off. I mean, he's not scared of a commercial record. A lot of DJs are, because of credibility. I don't even know what that is, but you know, he's not scared of making some money and having a hit record. As you say, you know, his underground stuff is so good. You know, it works. You know, Mark, is that your future?
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can straddle the line, and you know, I try and do it myself, between commerciality and credibility, and that's the trick, you know. And I think you've epitomised that with Eric. That's what he does brilliantly. He knows to go, right, I better write a hit now. Okay, I'll do that, and then I better write a lot of underground records that'll feed all my gigs. So yeah, he's totally nailed that sort of ethos. Yeah,
and he's now even his underground tracks are becoming hits as well. So you know, his fan base is buying into everything. I mean, Paulie is. Cocoon going that route?
Oh, the fan base is...
Commercial Cocoon, I don't know if I can...
Quite important, the fan base, absolutely. And I don't know what I should say about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to see Sven Vath on Top of the Pops one day, if it ever comes back. That'd be something. Oh, not Tony Byrne, is it? No.
This question's to David. I'm just curious with regards to dance radio. How big is it in terms of, for example, stations? When you're promoting a record like the Josh record, how many stations would you actually mail or promo to?
We do 300 to 500 mailers in the country. Dance stations, there's only 6 or 7 real core dance stations, but at the end of the day, there's still numerous mix shows and mix show DJs. So we do anywhere from 300 to 500 mailers.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I was wondering if the main problem is not the fact that we are on a SIG format, like the CDs. We are speaking about the death of the CD, but I think it's because of the precarity of the CD, because the tape disappeared, but the vinyl is still there. And we can speak today about the death of the CD because it's a sheet format actually, and it's not because of the competition with internet at 100%, because I don't think that beatport is the key. When you go to beatport, you listen to a track like 5 seconds and you can have a clear picture. And when you go to iTunes, sometimes you've got your file corrupted. So I think that the death of the CD is just because the CD is,
Well, I don't know. I mean,
a bad format.
You know, I mean, it's
like the sales of the vinyl are rising of 98% in US in 1 year. When you compare to the last year, the sales were rising of 98% for the vinyl. And we are speaking about the death of the vinyl since 30 years, and the format is still there. I think the CD will disappear, of course, but I think it's because of precarity, not because of internet at 100%. So we can't blame the streaming or the new system.
No, I don't think anyone's apportioning blame anywhere. It's, you know, as I said, you know, you have to present something and the public will buy what they will buy, whether they buy it and download it onto a USB stick and carry that around, or whether they go and buy a CD or a vinyl. I mean, you know, I don't think anyone's rubbishing any format. It's just a curious question. As I say, I remember when, I think it was on Tomorrow's World, and he got a CD out and he put some jam on it and then he wiped it off and he put it in and it still played. It's like, you know, this is Star Wars stuff, you know. I remember when it started, you know, I'd be sad to see it go, you know.
I think it's a matter of who you're aiming the artist at, and I'll give you an example, like of if we're talking about the death of the CD, is Duffy sold 1.5 million units in the UK, and 49,000 was digital download albums. That's less than 1%, so I don't think the CD is dying.